In this video, we'll be talking about adding a new meal to your menu. And you could do this in two ways. You could either start from scratch or duplicate an existing meal. So first, let's add a new meal. So I'll come to my menu page. On the top, we'll click Add New, and then Item. And let's enter a name, a description, and a price here. Okay, so I've added in my basic details. And depending on what settings I have enabled for my store, I might see some different options below. So for example, I have stock management enabled. So I could let the system know that I'll only have enough chicken for 100 of these in stock. After 100 of these get ordered, this meal will automatically be deactivated. We could also enter our macros if we know these. If you don't know these directly, you could actually just leave these blank. And when we fill in our ingredients in a moment, these will automatically be generated for us. So if these ever are empty for you, don't panic. It's actually working as it should. Then we have our category. We could simply choose where we want this to show up on our menu. We have any tags, any allergies, and if we're on a multiple delivery day store, we could assign this to a specific date. We have our heating instructions, so maybe we could say something like microwave for 2 minutes, and an expirational date. Of course, if you have any questions about any of these things, always check out the little question mark and it'll explain exactly what that feature is. With that, we'll move up to our ingredients tab, and I'm going to go ahead and type in some ingredients. Okay, so I have 10 ounces of grilled chicken, 5 ounces broccoli, and 5 ounces of brown rice. I'm going to go ahead and click the Add button, and the system automatically will pull those ingredients out of the Nutritionix API, and it'll build this nutritional label for us. We could always adjust this in real time if we're trying to hit certain macros. If we didn't find the ingredient we're looking for, or if it's not exactly what you wanted, you could search the database directly. You could also add a custom ingredient if you have it in person. Or if you wanted to skip this entire process and you already have your nutritional label, you could just enter the nutrition directly. Furthermore, there's a new feature called ingredient mixes. I'll have a video specifically talking about this down in our inventory section, but for now, all you need to know is an ingredient mix is a grouping of ingredients. So maybe you have a special sauce that's made up of mayo and ketchup and relish, right? You don't want to add each of those ingredients every time you use it, so we could build an ingredient mix and then we could apply that onto new meals. Next, I'll move over to supplies. This is also related to our inventory system, and I could assign certain supplies to this meal. So for example, anytime this meal gets ordered, I want it to keep track that that counts as one meal container. Next, I have my variations tab. So first I have my sizes, and I could do a small and a large, and I can make my large a little more expensive. And I could also go one step further and adjust the ingredients for the large. So instead of being 11 ounces, maybe this is 15 ounces. We could change the ingredient amount. That way it's always accurate depending on what size the customer orders. Next, I'll move over to components and I'll click Add Component. This will let your customer make a choice, like choose an extra side or choose your side options. In this case, I've made my component choose your side salad. The customer has to choose a minimum and maximum of one, and they have the choice between the garden and the Caesar. Now, if I wanted the Caesar to be more expensive, I could add a $1 upcharge to that, and then I can go one step further and just click duplicate option for all sizes, and now I have the garden and the Caesar for my large size as well. Now, if the customer was to choose the Caesar salad, the nutrition would obviously be different than if they chose the garden. So next to Caesar, I can click Adjust Ingredients. I could add in my Caesar dressing and my croutons or anything else that goes into it. And when the customer selects this, it'll reflect properly on the nutritional label. Next, we have add-ons. Add-ons are usually not a multiple choice option. It's usually a one-off. So something like add cheese, or add extra protein. And just like with our components, we could duplicate this for all sizes, and we could also adjust the ingredients and or supplies if needed for that option. Lastly, what if we already have a meal that's very similar to the one that we want to add? For example, maybe I'm adding a beef patty that's a little bit different than this existing beef patty. Well, I could just come and click Add New Item, and right at the top, I could choose an existing template. So I could type in my beef patty and select that. And just like that, it'll fill in all of our settings and all of our prices. If the meal has ingredients or variations, it'll copy that over. And then all we need to do is change the name. So maybe this is our Wagyu beef patty. And we could just go make some minor changes for this meal.